racing right now.
He's got traction, he's over the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top
Oh my God!
Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Welcome to... where are we? Tsukuba. Welcome to Tsukuba, the 1K circuit, which is very small, as is customary with Hard and Fast. It is a Hard and Fast 2020 season, driversclub.net.au, providing you this series thanks to blipclothing.com. Here on SimSpeed TV, I've been told that this is actually the kart track at Tsukuba. So it's pretty narrow and it's pretty tight, and as always, things are going to get a bit spicy out there today. My name is Ryan Jones, alongside me as always, Reese Gardner.
G'day Ryan, and g'day everyone. Really looking forward to this round of Hard and Fast at the Tsukuba 1K circuit. It's called that because it is 1 kilometer long, and we're about to see where exactly it is. Tsukuba, just outside the Tokyo metro area in Japan. There is the main facility, and the 1000 circuit just down there to the bottom right. We're not racing on the main Tsukuba layout, but this is certainly going to bring some memes of its own. It's a very short circuit, very short corners, very harsh curbs as well. So these drivers have got one heck of a workout tonight, Ryan.
They certainly do. And there's the track. So Tsukuba's to the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hairpin of Tsukuba.
It is indeed.
And the back straight. And then that is actually the kart track at Tsukuba. That's a weird camera
dizzy
shot.
Now.
Where's my sick
motion
bag?
sickness.
I need my sick bag!
Oh, that's terrible. Goodness me.
I feel like I'm
Okay.
flying again.
Jay,
Jeez.
never do that again, please. There we go. That's a bit of a better angle there. You can get a really nice shot of the final turns in that particular section as well. Very challenging set of final corners, and the main straight is so short you barely have time to get some speed up before you're on the brakes for turn one again.
Yeah, we are running... It looks like there's actually an even shorter version of this track that we could have used.
There is.
Which is, if you go straight. Oh, there's an oval version of this track. Why aren't we using that?
Ah, good question. It is the one if you go straight ahead, that oval layout, but Adam Cannell demonstrating the infield section here. And this final corner entry, you have to avoid the curb ever so slightly. It can unsettle your car and then bring it back in for a late apex to get it onto the start-finish straight. There's the start-finish line, and immediately on the brakes again for turns 1 and 2. You got to measure your speed through these corners. It's medium speed through here. Careful on the throttle. Immediately back on the brakes again for the hairpin that Adam Cannell does not take. And that was where we joined him on that particular lap. So, yeah, once again, it's an incredibly tight circuit, Gymkhana style layout, and drivers like Jordan Pruden are going to have a bit of a tough time there. In 6th place in the practice standings, Bo Albert currently the one on top, 34.5, and Bo Albert has the second highest cash winnings of any driver in the series, despite only having started 2 events. That just goes to show, Ryan, how much success he has had in his short tenure in the series.
And he didn't even make it past lap 1 last race.
Yeah, that's true.
At least the chances of him rolling it before turn 1 at this place are much lower than they were at Wild Horse Pass, where he somehow managed to roll it before turn 1 or lap 1 from the pole.
Yes, indeed. That was quite the funny eventuality, wasn't it?
That first quarter is a never-ending sort of corner, isn't it? I guess it's turns 1 and 2. It's a double apex right-handed. It's almost like a shortened version of 1 and 2 at Queensland Raceway. We go back to that overhead shot. The track tightens up on the exit. So you've got to be a little bit careful about how you put the power down. It's actually got quite a lot of track in the middle, a lot of runoff, but then it tightens up, and you've almost got to keep turning for the next corner as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And you don't get much of an opportunity to set up for those left-handers that we're seeing a car go through there on the right-hand side of the screen. You're battling understeer the whole way through there, and coming down to the penultimate turn with that gigantic curb on the inside. I reckon if people take that the wrong way, you could see a couple of flips here tonight as well.
Going to be tough on steering inputs as well. Because there's no real place, there's no real straight. Even the main straight is not straight, much like hell. That wasn't straight either. You know what I love for a wild card? Crandon Off-Road's coming soon.
Yeah, it is.
Service.
Actually,
that has 8 wide starts.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Proper off-road racing venue like Crandon. When that eventually comes to the iRacing service, it will be a grand day, and I hope that Hard and Fast is able to visit that circuit so we can see how the rallycross cars strut their stuff around there. Jonathan Bain, on the other hand, winner at the Irwindale Figure 8 round. He's been taking good care of his car in this practice session down there in P18. Struggling a little bit to hook up the apexes, pushing very hard into the left-hander, using all the road on the exit. Now, watch out for this curb on the right-hand side. You see it there? All the drivers are avoiding that. It's not good for lap time.
Only 18th at the moment for Jonathan Bain, 1.5 seconds off. 17th, though, through to first, covered by 0.8 of a second, so very tight. This 34.5 second lap time. This is the Racewire Tsukuba Dive Dash. Officially, this race.
Yeah, it's good to see that we've got event names like that. We've got sponsors coming on board to support these events. Because Hard and Fast certainly turns it up in the racing stakes and in the financial stakes as well. Remember, there is prize money and fines in this series, and the drivers stand to come home with the driver on top stands to come home with in excess of $60 cash at the moment. That's the total winnings for our championship leader. And now that the session is almost over, we're starting to see the fun happen out on track. Cameron Dance here, who had great potential there for a good result at Wild Horse Pass, taking the drift line around the circuit. Drifting incredibly popular in Japan. It's pretty much where drifting was invented. And tracks like Tsukuba 1000 have really done well to elevate the sport of drifting. Got great sequences of corners that allow you to just power your car through, slide completely back it into the corner. See how Cam does here. Right out sideways, and oh, just keeping a wheel within the white lines. That was still legal.
That's a wild way to get around the track. If a track is mostly corners and not straights, could it be fast?
Well, depends on the corners, really. I think because this track doesn't allow you to reach a particularly high average speed, you'd probably consider these corners as slow all round. Probably medium speed at most in turns 1 and 2.
Well, Cameron's up there was 4 seconds off the pace, so maybe not. Or maybe Cameron is just terrible at drifting. Also quite likely.
Or,
judging by that,
also
quite
very likely.
Look at that line.
Yeah. An equally likely possibility is that drifting is not fast. Has that ever been considered? Is there a scientific paper we can reference?
No, drifting's fast. It looks cool, so it's fast.
If you say so.
Cool is fast.
Cool is fast.
Is this why I don't win races?
Well,
I just look too cool.
No comment on that one, but we're at the end of the practice session now, and It's time to get into the qualifying session. The drivers have 10 minutes and 8 laps with which to set a time, as per usual, and they are out in groups.
Here's a question. Is qualifying less or more important today? We've got a smaller field, so does that... Because it means we're probably only going to have a B instead of a C main. And less cars in the heats.
Yeah, likely. I think the drivers, they won't have to worry too much about qualifying here, but this track looks like it's incredibly hard to pass on. So I think that if you can get your qualifying position as best as you can, it'll definitely help you. Bo Albert definitely knows how to wheel a car around here quick, and you see taking that wide line into the final corner. It's really tempting to get on the throttle early through there, but in these cars, you just understeer straight off. Same into here. It's amazing that we can look at the entire track from one camera angle.
Bo's unofficially qualified for the World Rallycross Series now, hasn't he, this year?
I believe he has.
That's why he's running this, because with the results, obviously you get 4 drop weeks. So he's done enough over 8 weeks to put himself high enough up in the order to earn that qualification boost. So he's letting his hair down before he goes back into ultra competitive Bo for the weeks or months when that series takes place.
Indeed, and certainly not letting his hair down in terms of the pace stakes, because look at that time that he set first time out, 34.4. That's the fastest time of the night so far. And James Rewalt unable to get close to that, more than a couple of tenths. Dave Roberts, meanwhile, who we saw have some interesting luck at Wild Horse Pass. Looking to get his Ford Fiesta in a good position here at Tsukuba, and I'm immediately brought back, Ryan, to when we visited the Charlotte Legends road course. This is one of those tracks, just like Charlotte, where you can see the drivers lifting the inside rear wheel into the corners. Shows you how hard they're pushing.
Flat track as well, so it highlights that even more so, as he lets the car, he keeps the car quite tight through 1 and 2. That's what I was trying to say. And again, through turn 3, doesn't angle for an exit or anything like that. Left side picks up through 4. Probably one of the only places where the exit's really important, because you can get through and it'll carry a lot of speed to the left before you slow it down for the last 2 corners. That looks awkwardly tight.
Yeah, it is awkwardly tight, but that's a 35.2 from Dave. That puts him up 2 positions there to P11. Nicely done, pipping Daniel Stevens, who is a further 2 tenths behind at the moment.
And there's William Murray, who's currently 14th. 17 drivers have set times. John Schultz, the only one not to so far. Mizomo is slowest at the moment.
Yeah, and that's quite the slow lap time from Simon Mizomo. 51.2 is his time, so he'll be looking to improve on that at least slightly. Slight problem for William Murray there on the exit, struggling to keep it on the racing line, balancing the throttle and brakes through the final couple turns.
They're actually
an all-right exit.
Getting a lot of understeer, which just seems unusual for a rallycross car.
Yes,
but noticeably into that penultimate corner, they're understeering wide, trying to get their car turned in. John Schultz finally puts his time on the board, as Mizomo improved, by the way, to 14th.
Yeah, and Schultz is going to have to improve on this one as well, because 43.8 for an initial lap. I think that might actually be counting his outlap, because the start-finish line at this track is just in front of the pit entry. All the way out wide in the final 2 corners. Away he goes across the line. See what John Schultz can do here. Puts himself up into 12th place with that time. 35.269. 6 tenths off Mr. Albert's time. Tell you what, this is going to be a very close field tonight.
It is. Take that Albert out of the equation. 2 tenths is a lot, though, isn't it? On a track as short as this.
Yeah, only 1,000 meters.
It is a lot, as Albert runs quite wide into the last corner, looking to get the power down. Starting a flying lap, let's right on board. with the Altus Esportsman. He lets the car use all the road through turn 1 and 2, and then onto the brakes, angling it in for an apex, and then into turn 4 as well. Really trying to get the late apex there. It looks so. It might be fast though. And then watch the understeer as he tries to get it turned in. Yep, understeered wide.
Yeah, that's a shame there for Bo, but
Still would have put him third.
yeah, still a reasonably competitive lap time there, 34.7, but you could really see from that onboard just how much lock the drivers are putting on in these hairpin turns. Kyle Stevens, race administrator, demonstrating this hairpin section for us now. There goes the rear wheel, lifting off the ground. But your little virtual driver in the sim is pretty much driving one-handed at the apex of those hairpins, so an awful lot of wheel work required to get around here. And when you think about navigating these twisties, yeah, of course, yeah, I know all about driving one-handed. But Kyle Stevens here, right in the middle of the hairpin turn, putting the power down, 600 and something horsepower these rallycross cars have. You have absolutely no time to really get your bearings about you to set up for that left-hander.
Yeah. Driving one-handed is actually quite common though, isn't it, Reese? Drivers like Mitchell McLeod will have one hand on the wheel, one hand on the beer, so to speak.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. It is entirely possible to drive one-handed and not be a complete danger, like Mr. McLeod sometimes, as I'll have you know. But Mitch McLeod, a good friend of us at SimSpeed, always
I think he's
fun
made an appearance this season, hasn't he?
In Hard and Fast, you mean?
I think so. No. Might not be. Might be one of the few series he hasn't popped up in so far.
Yes, it'd be nice to see Mitch have a run in these rallycross cars. He does tend to like the meme formats, meme cars, meme tracks. So, Mitch, if you're listening, please love us. And
he's obliged to love
here.
Jay.
Of course he is. Part of the family, isn't he?
James Rewalt is... And Jay says, unfortunately, in the background, James Rewalt, on his latest effort, closes the gap to Bo Albert to 0.189 of a second.
Oh, wow.
Tight, but not close enough for him. Skurlock sitting in third, ahead of Jeremy Clark, so he's just improved to go there.
Yeah, Michael Skurlock actually on good form here in the qualifying session. What about Daniel Stevens? He's shown great potential as well. Over the line, and I think that might be to start a lap. He's gone wide in turn 1. Could potentially help him with acceleration through the next corner, but it's all swings and roundabouts around here. Try and be as smooth on the power as you can. Don't lock the brakes. Keep it tight at the apex. Out onto the throttle again. These cars get around here at a rate of knots. Just running wide of the curbs. A very smooth exit once again, but 35.6 for him. Slower than his fastest time so far, so he stays in 16.
I reckon, because of how short this lap is, everyone's done their 8 laps already in this session.
Yeah, looks like it. So we got a minute left then until we get going for the heats. It's only going to be 5 lap heats tonight, and the top 2 will get the run through straight to the feature. And as we said before, it'll be likely that that we only have probably a B main tonight with the reduced grid that we have. But quite the arena for Hard and Fast to go to late in the season, this Tsukuba 1000 layout. Tried testing these rallycross cars around here the other week, and I just got frustrated after about 5 laps because you constantly want to open it up and get the times down, but the track just doesn't let you. But there are the qualifying results. Bo Albert coming off the best out of all these guys.
Again. James Rewalt second, Michael Skurlock third, Clark fourth, and Stevens fifth. That's 3 poles in a row for Albert, I think, now, in this series. Jordan Pruden 6th, Cameron Dance 7th, Burley 8th, McLaughlin 9th, Neil 10th. That means nothing because we're heading into our heats and the grid gets shaken up. Going to be only three heats.
All right.
6 drivers each. This is how they line up for heat number 1. Bo Albert, Jeremy Clark, Cameron Dance and Adam Neal, John Schultz, and Daniel Stevens. Stevens a bit slow in qualifying compared to what we might have expected.
Yes, indeed. But still, starting close by his closest competitors in this field. And if drivers come together in turn 1, he'll certainly be there to take advantage. Of course, the drivers won't end up retiring due to hits because damage is turned off in this series. You can absolutely send it, not have to worry about any virtual repair bills.
Looks like a standing start as well. Revs rise, lights come on for the drivers. Lights out, away we go. Great start from Albert, slow start from Clark as Dance comes into contact. And they wreck behind him. John Schultz into the Armco. Daniel Stevens will squeak through as it was Adam Neal that went around.
Yeah, Adam Neal there, getting back onto the track. Jeremy Clark took advantage of that incident as well. He's back ahead of Cameron Dance. Jeremy Clark, we ride on board with as he chases down Bo Albert from the front.
Ooh. That was a lot of two-wheel action for Dance there. Lap 1 in the books. It's a 2.2 second lead for Albert. Top 2 will go through to the feature. The rest will have to go into our B main.
Yeah, so Cameron Dance is going to have to pick up the pace here soon. Might have to give it a big lunge up the inside. Clark just suffering from a little bit of understeer there through the right-hander, sorry. Wouldn't be a SimSpeed broadcast without me getting my lefts and rights confused. But Clark's doing a good job here of holding off Cameron. And our last 2 positions on the circuit, Schultz and Neal, are pretty close together as well.
I reckon Dance is close enough to have a lunge if he wants to.
He'd probably do well to wait till the last lap, though.
He would. Jeremy Clark won't want to let it happen. Is you see the Constantina effect as they come through the corners, closing in on the brakes, and then spreading apart on the loud pedal.
Goodness me. Both of these guys pushing so hard there. Clark and Dance both two-wheeling it over the curb at the final couple turns. Dance is looking pretty close here as they get onto the penultimate lap. Just pushed a little bit hard there in turn 1, trying to keep the momentum up. Get a launch up the inside, not this time. Clark preemptively going defensive, but a bit more understeer there in the mid-phase of the corner. Cameron Dance is closer than he's ever been now.
He's setting up.
Yeah, he's really setting it up now, isn't he? But he's not going to have a chance through here.
He was trying to get the run out of the corner with a wider line through. He was trying it again at the last corner. Very wide. Gets a power on earlier. Can he sneak up the inside down at 2-1? Down at turn 1. 2 tyres in the grass on the exit of the last corner. Trying on the brakes. Not close enough, but it's the final lap. Just a couple opportunities remain. What about turn 3? He looks. He gives him a hit. He moves him. And he redresses.
I think that's that over there for Cameron Dance. Jeremy Clark's pretty much secured second with that one, but Bo Albert coming through the final couple turns and absolutely drifts his way through him in celebration. He takes the first heat win of the night. Jeremy Clark is going to come home in second and go straight through to the feature with Bo. Cameron Dance has to settle for third there with Steven, Schultz and Neal rounding out your field.
Got to be careful doing those celebrations before the start-finish line. That's how Cameron Dance missed out on a feature spot earlier in the season. Heat 2, James Rewalt will be on the pole with Kyle Stevens alongside him, Alex Purley and Matthew Feldman from 3rd and 4th, Mizomo from 5th, William Murray starting from 6th.
This is going to be an interesting matchup here off the line. James Rewalt and Kyle Stevens as the revs rise. They're getting ready to go and the green flag about to fly here. What kind of start will Rewalt get? It's a nice jump there. Oh, and a very bad launch from Kyle Stevens. He missed the cue there to start, and Mizomo powers up the inside and smashes into the side of, I think that was Matthew Feldman.
And he lets Feldman back by. So the TechSense car is being very polite out there today.
This
As
is a bit of a closer battle for the lead than the last heat for sure. Alex Purley is right on the back of Rewalt here.
he is, but he doesn't need to get by him. He can happily sit in second and go through to the feature. A lot of cloud cover just coming over the racetrack as well. As it darkens overhead. Stevens drops to third then. After lap 1. As Purley runs a little bit wide into turn 1. Mizomo now looking for a way to get by Feldman again, this time a bit more cleanly.
Ooh, Kyle Stevens has made a mistake at the hairpin. Oh, William Murray almost saw a chance there. Stevens a bit wide, but Murray does not take it. He knows that there's a lot of potential there for a hit to be made, but Stevens pushing too hard into the final couple turns again. Murray's getting the advantage through there, and he is through up into third place. So potential podium now for William Murray, making it 2 Subaru Imprezas on the podium. Can Stevens fight back? He's actually having some more problems. Through goes Feldman.
Stevens really struggling. Murray now struggles as he runs it wide, and Feldman goes by him now. So Feldman goes from 5th to 3rd in 3 corners on a track where you can't pass. And now Murray loses another spot. He goes from 3rd to 6th. This Mizomo might get him as well, around the outside. And he does, as Murray might actually have a cut track for that.
Yeah, but Mizomo holding onto the momentum. Side by side across the line between these guys. Murray with the advantage into the first turn, but Simon Mizomo is holding on. Great racing there at the back. Oh no, contact, and Mizomo smacked off the racing line. Fortunately, he keeps it going. Couple of tech issues for William Murray as well. That's not going to serve him well for the rest of the night. But Rewalt and Purley up the front. Hasn't been much of a change between them. Rewalt actually gaining on Purley as he starts his final lap.
1.5 seconds. The gap should be pretty comfortable on this final lap. Feldman's got to be careful about Stevens. How they finish will determines where they start for the B main. So still something to play for as Stevens really threw it in. Locked it up into turn 3 that time. Slowed him up too much. Out front, James Rewalt going to take the heat win in heat number 2. A very good drive and a good launch at the line converts into heat race for him.
Alex Purley comes home in second, through into the feature as well. Feldman completes the podium, with Carl Stevens falling from 2nd to 4th at the end of that. William Murray and Simon Mizomo round out the field.
Our final heat, just heat 3 of the night. Michael Skurlock on pole for this one, with Jordan Pruden next to him. Hugh McLaughlin from 3rd, Dave Roberts, Adam Cannell, Jonathan Bain, the other cars in this one. So the last 2 drivers going to book their spot straight through to the feature. Just waiting on Skurlock to grid up, and then we will await those lights to come on as we look from overhead. 5 becomes 6 on the starting grid. Lights come on. Heat 3 is green from Tsukuba. Great start from 3rd place, Hugh McLaughlin. Very even though amongst your top 3 overall. As Skurlock runs wide, McLaughlin will go from 3rd to 1st down at turn 1.
Yeah, and Adam Cannell has had the opposite luck, bumped wide in turn 1. He is now in last place. But McLaughlin, as there's contact between Jonathan Ben and Dave Roberts, they sort themselves out there. But Jonathan Ben a bit frazzled there as Roberts sneaks up the inside to try and take that place.
Good launch from McLaughlin, converts into a very good run through 1 and 2 as Skurlock made a mistake. Too deep on the brakes and it costs him. Now running 2nd with Jordan Pruden right behind him. Pruden losing a spot on the start as well. Then that battle between Bain, Cannell and Roberts. Good little lead from McLaughlin now as well.
Indeed it is, and seeing a couple of tech issues for Jordan Pruden chasing down Michael Skurlock. Hopefully those sort out for him pretty soon. Very close here for the transfer spot. This was Skurlock's best starting position in a heat the entire time he's been racing in this series. So if he can hold on to this 2nd, it'll be a great conversion for the rest of the night. But Jordan Pruden, of course, supremely skilled in the rallycross cars. He'll be putting the pressure on massively, and I think putting a bit of pressure on himself because He's starting to push very hard as Pruden, starting to fall back slightly from Skurlock in the faster turns. Maybe he feels there's a bit more strength here in the slower sections. Oh, it's a bit of a slide from Jordan Pruden just behind Skurlock. And that's put him a bit further back now onto the penultimate lap for these guys. McLaughlin looking untroubled up the front, and Roberts, Cannell, and Ben are all spaced out as well.
They are. No changes looking like they're going to happen on this lap, or maybe the final lap either. Your top three with a nice gap back to 4th, 5th, and 6th, who are spread into the last two corners for McLaughlin to begin his final lap. Going to be a tough track to pass. These automatic transfer spots so crucial to get yourself into the feature. Everyone else can have to really work hard in the B main to sneak their way in. As we are now on to our final lap.
We are indeed, and Hugh McLaughlin looking very smooth and controlled here up the front. You can see the amount of mechanical grip being put through the tyres of that Ford Fiesta. Soft suspension, lots of body roll, but you need that to get the grip in the tyres and ride these curbs nicely. Hugh McLaughlin out of the final corner, taking the third and final heat win of the night, and Michael Skurlock holds on for second to join him straight through to the feature.
Good job from all the drivers in the heats there to get through relatively cleanly. There's your full results from Heat 3. We are going to have a C main, in fact.
Ooh. And there's going to be 8 cars in this one. It's going to be Kyle Stevens starting from the pole alongside Jonathan Bain. John Schultz and William Murray take up the second row with Adam Cannell and Adam Neal on the third row. Mazzomo and Roberts make it an all Ford Fiesta back row of the grid in 7th and 8th.
So, 8 cars, 4 going through to the B main. A jump start from Kyle Stevens.
Oh.
Jonathan Bain gets the best of the rest of the starts. No, he doesn't. John Schultzen is inside. Takes away that spot as there's a bit of contact behind. They almost made it through cleanly as one gets turned around. That's Neil.
Great swapping for positions between Jonathan Bain and John Schultz. Adam Cannell now on the attack, and they make contact to Schultz and Cannell. Schultz through into the turn, but Cannell bumps him off. Schultz recovers the slide, but unfortunately, William Murray had to check up. Simon Mazzomo taking great advantage, but he gets bumped off himself. This is absolute carnage here in the C main. Half the field has been spun around on lap 1, and this means that Jonathan Bain has a dominant lead right now, with Mazzomo in 2nd, Murray 3rd, Dave Robertson 4th, and Neal and Cannell 5th and 6th. John Schultz is going to bring it into the pits. And he is out. So no John Schultz for the rest of the night. That's a big shame. He seems to have had quite the problem there on that first lap. Pretty close racing here all throughout the field. Mazzomo about to catch up to Jonathan Bain here.
6 fighting for the 4 transfer spots to keep their night alive. Roberts holding that final transfer at the moment. Here's Racewire car. And the Racewire Tasmania Tsukuba dive dash.
It's looking like a bit of a home race advantage here for Mr. Roberts, sponsor-wise, as Ben and Mazzomo now very close together through the last couple turns. Roberts trying his best there on Murray, who we ride on board with, and actually getting the inside run into the first turn. Dave Roberts coming through then to take 3rd spot from William Murray and makes it stick. Nicely done.
Nicely done. Is it sponsored by Racewire Tasmania? Because, well, this track is small and it's like the off-brand version of Tsukuba, and Tasmania is like the small and off-brand version of Australia.
God. I could see that coming from a mile away, and I have absolutely no response. Mazzomo, meanwhile, has gotten into the lead. Jonathan Bain has had to give up that first position. Drives it very hard into the last corner. Coming on to lap 5 then. Got 3 laps to go for these guys, and Mazzomo is looking pretty good here, but can Roberts fight his way through. Jonathan Bain ran wide and big contact between himself and Dave Roberts. Roberts was taking the normal line. I don't think he was expecting Jonathan Bain to keep it turned into the right. So that's a big disadvantage now for Dave. Outside the top four now.
He's at 6 now. Starting, where did he start? He started from 8th, was up to 3rd. Mizobo started 7th and now leads, of course. Bain in 2nd. From William Murray in 3rd. Adam Neal now in 4th. Adam Cannell chasing. You might still have a chance on this, Adam Cannell, if you're getting turned around in lap 1. Or
Yeah,
being
just
involved
might.
in Calamity into lap 1. Oh,
Yeah,
Neal up the inside. Open to the door. There's a bit of contact on the exit. The big stupid little beetle going at it. And Cadell gets ever closer now in the mirrors.
William Murray is through. Bit of oversteer on the exit. Can Neil sneak up the inside again into the penultimate turn? No. The door is supremely shut. But now he's got to focus on Adam Cannell behind him because they are coming up to the white flag. It is the last lap now. And William Murray having to yield to Adam Neal once again. Through comes Cannell on the inside, lunges it up there, and he's almost ahead of Murray. He's got the inside line into the hairpin, outbreaks him, and takes it.
Great move to take that spot away from Adam Neal, Cannell, Murray, Roberts, now all stacked up. This is the last lap, battling for P4. Mizomo's going to win. Bain will be 2nd. Neal's currently 3rd. Cannell's currently 4th. As I come out of the final corner, Neal will be 3rd. Cannell will be 4th. Roberts and Murray are going to miss out.
Oh, that's a big shame for Dave. He was in that top 4 before the problems with Adam Neal and only just recovering there to P5, 4 tenths away from qualifying for the B main. Big shame for those guys, but those were your results from the C main. Now we move through into the B main, and this one is also an 8-car grid. Cameron Dance and Matthew Feldman are going to line up on the front with Jordan Pruden and Daniel Stevens behind them. And then it's our top 4 from the previous race. Mizomo, Bain, Adam Neal, and Adam Cannell. Now, it looks like everyone's going to make it through.
It's an 8-car B main, the top 9 going through to the feature. Work that one out.
Yep, so it doesn't matter where you finish in this one. Everyone's going to get through. So try and race cleanly, guys. Green flag flies, and it is a great start from Matthew Feldman. Cameron Dance, unfortunately, not getting the traction off the line, and Feldman covers him beautifully into turn 1.
Pruden there in 3rd, side by side. Daniel Stevens and Simon Mizomo. Mizomo going to take that spot down at turn 3. Gets his nose on the inside of Pruden for a moment as well. Is Adam Neal trying to get Stevens, and Pruden cops the whack from Mizomo. He hangs on to it. Neal is very awkwardly positioned with Stevens now as well. Stevens relinquishes the spot.
Two-wheeling it goes Adam Neal through the penultimate corner, and I see Jonathan Bain trying his best to put a move on Adam Cannell there up at the back of the field, but very close racing here on lap 2. Feldman in the lead with Cameron Dance chasing, and Jordan Pruden and Simon Mizomo completing the top 4. Pruden has gotten into Cameron Dance, nearly turns him at the hairpin, and that created a huge concertina effect behind them. So now everyone's getting brought together, and this has gifted Feldman a bit more of a gap.
They can race aggressively because I know they're all going to go through. Unless they get disqualified. They're all going to go through. Feldman, Dance, Pruden, Mizomo, Neal, Stevens, Bain, a little bit wide from Feldman through 1, but it gives him a good exit through 2 and into 3. Covers, makes a mistake, and Dance says hello.
Little bit of a hi, hello, hey from Cameron Dance, and wow, he is actually on 2 wheels as Cameron there from the exterior shot I saw, but you're on board for that. Goodness me. He has got a huge amount of pace under his belt as Feldman takes all of the curb and then some. You won't get a slowdown for that. That curb is considered part of the racetrack at this circuit. I think that's given Feldman just the gap that he needs to stay ahead of Dance for at least one more lap. We'll see how they do in the hairpin section, though. Feldman going defensive on Dance into the hairpin, but Dance tries to sneak one up the inside on exit. Not quite. He's going to have to try and line something up here if Pruden doesn't hit him again.
Dance needs to get some more meat into him. That car's too light. Look at it.
My goodness.
Two
Yeah.
wheels everywhere.
Yeah, he's
No,
really
no,
set it
no,
up to lean on the outside wheels in the corners, hasn't he?
There's definitely tweaks in the setup there, that's for sure. Here we go. Now he's got the overlap to the inside
Oh,
for
look at
turn
that.
3 on the brakes. Beautiful stuff. And Dance 2 wheels his way into the lead of the race. As Feldman out into the grass, going to lose not 1 but 2 spots.
Yeah, potentially a third there if Mizomo can line one up on him into the next couple corners. It was a compromised exit from Feldman, but Mizomo not able to take advantage. So now it is Cameron Dance up at the front of this one and Jordan Pruden chasing him down. Feldman's goal now, I think, is just try and keep Mizomo and Adam Neal behind.
Ooh,
Our
big dive.
Oh my goodness, that was a big dive there from Mr. Mizomo, and it looks like he's managed to get it done there too.
Yeah, he
Courageous move.
very cheekily shut the door and turned back into the apex as Feldman tried to do the crossover there. That Subaru is very much the BMW M8 of Rallycross, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's the big boy. It's also the old boy, because the Subaru Impreza has been in and around rallying and rallycross since the early 1990s. It's a real stalwart of this kind of car. But lap 7, it is the last lap for these guys.
Stalwart. I've never said that word, and now I don't know how to say it.
Stalwart.
Cameron Dance with a nice lead over Jordan Pruden. It's a second now as he comes into the last 2 corners. Cameron Dance, is going to take out the B main, and he's going to go straight through to the feature, and so's everyone else.
Amazing. Everybody wins today. Everyone is happy.
All 9 of our 8
now.
drivers going through to the feature here. Does that mean the first loser in C main goes through? Who was that?
I
Dave
wish
Roberts?
that were the case. Oh man, if I think if that were true, then it would be the lifeline Dave Roberts was looking for. But I don't think that is the case. It's time for the feature though, Ryan, and we've got a 14-car grid.
And Bo Albert's back. He's on pole. James Rewalt second. Hugh McLaughlin third. Jeremy Clark fourth. They're the guys that booked their spots in the heats. Just the top 3, in fact. Purley, Skurlock, Dance, Pruden, Mizomo, Feldman, Neal, Cannell, Stevens, Ben, Schultz. Bane.
People are already.
Bane's the last one. This is a 13-lap race. And it's going to go by very quickly. Allegedly, those lights are going to come on.
Oh, they will go green when the green flag flies, apparently. So, looks like the actual starting period is about to begin as more cars file onto the grid. Here we go then, Ryan. It's time for the feature to get going. We'll see if those lights turn green. Is Jay a liar? No, he's not. Away they go. Bo Albert getting a great start, but it's an even run from James Rewalt and Hugh McLaughlin as well. McLaughlin getting up the inside of Rewalt into turn 2 as the field fans out behind them. Can McLaughlin take second?
They can't afford to battle for second. They'll allow Bo to get away. They do battle. McLaughlin edges them out. And sideways, turn around to the background. One of the TechSense cars ends up back at before turn 3. That was Cameron Dance, I think. And now on his lid is Jeremy Clark. Lands on all 4 tires.
More crashes. More crashes here. Feldman, Jeremy Clark. Oh my goodness. What's going on here, man?
Tight track. It's a kart track.
Goodness
these
me.
are rallycross cars.
Oh, well. You can only fit 1.5 Subarus wide, Jay Kennedy says in the background. Well, Bo Albert, I think, is going to check out from here, because James Rewalt and Hugh McLaughlin very close for 3rd place. Simon Mizomo and Cameron Dance have joined each other at the back of the grid in the TechSense Fitstye cars. They're fighting for position with each other, but the field streams its way through. There's going to be some very hard moves being made soon. McLaughlin and Rewalt almost on again. Rewalt tried to get the narrow exit to get the run into the hairpin, but no dice for him. Meanwhile, Daniel Stevens trying to chase down in this massive pack behind for for 6th on back. It's headed up by Adam Neal, but then you got Cannell and Stevens trying to make the move up the inside, side by side between Jonathan Ben and Jordan Pruden. They sort themselves out.
Close battle as well for last position between Mizomo and Dance after they both got caught up in lap 1 incidents. Both trying to desperately stay out of that dreaded spot. Two teammates not having a good early run in the feature.
No, certainly not. They got bumped around a bit there on the first lap, and knowing the results that these guys have had in this series in the past, you think that they would be expecting some more from tonight. But we're right on board with James Rewalt once again as he chases down Hugh McLaughlin. Very tight line through the last couple corners. And I'm seeing an incident further back as well. Jonathan Bain has run wide in the last couple of turns. He's about to give up a position here to Matthew Feldman into the first turn. Big contact between the two of them, but it looks like Feldman just managed to get it done. Covers the inside to stop Bain from making the move again. And Clark on Stevens. Trying his best there. No, that's Jonathan Bain, sorry. Oh, Jay's telling us to look at the sticker on the rear bumper, but not really getting a good look at it. It says this way up, I think, referencing the constant incidents in the last race that happened to those cars.
Battle for P2, though. McLaughlin and Rowell hasn't died down. Albert's checked out to a 3.3 second lead. And they're battling for best of the rest at the moment. Rowell just can't find the speed where he needs it. Does he poke the car at the inside here? He doesn't. Not yet. Anyway, lap 7 of 13 now.
Side by side in turn 1.
Almost had an overlap. McLaughlin's wide, though. Opens a door for Rowell, and he goes through, but McLaughlin's fighting back. Very tight on the exit. A little bit of a rub. Now, can he get the crossover? He turns it in. He does. He gets the power down. But on the wrong side of the road again for McLaughlin to fend off this spot.
Can he get the straight exit, though? Try and get an advantage? No. He was sliding a bit too much at the apex. Didn't quite hook it up. So all that work that he had done is now undone. James Rewalt up into second place. Alex Purley, meanwhile, starting to gap Michael Skurlock behind for third place. Purley's having a good run here. For fourth, sorry.
He was 9/10 quicker than McLaughlin last lap.
Oh, he's not going to be much quicker there if he backs it into the turn like he just did there. Goodness me.
P7, Adam Cannell, Daniel Stevens, and Jordan Pruden. Stevens has done a good job. He started last in his heat, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe he did. So,
he's on the feature.
So it's a really good run from Stevens so far, and he's holding off the pressure nicely from Jordan Pruden behind. They're very close. Adam Cannell enjoying a bit of a gap here, but Mr. Stevens keeping it nice and smooth, and that's a great exit. Tries to fire it around the outside, but Cannell covers him, and that's left the door open to Jordan Pruden. Side by side then into these next couple of turns, and Stevens just bumping Pruden as they try to fit into this very narrow circuit. There's a great fight between these guys. Pruden actually taking advantage there and fires it at the last corner. Took advantage of Stevens running a bit wide, and now with the inside line into turn 1, can Jordan Pruden do it? He just sneaks ahead, but can Stevens come back at him with the over-under? He's going to have the inside line for the hairpin as well. Is it going to be a dive? Pruden goes defensive and smashes Adam Cannell off. They both went way too hard into the corner there. And that means that Stevens now open to an attack from Feldman and Cameron Dance, who's trying to make a recovery. Oh, goodness me.
That's all getting very messy back there.
Looks like they've just managed to sort themselves out, though. And you see there the lead that Bo Albert has. He's not looked back from his pole position here. Enjoyed a lead of 5.5 seconds at the line. It's now out to 5.6 seconds. But have a look at this battle here. For 9th on back, Feldman and Dance battling for 10th. Incredible fight between these guys, and I'm frankly amazed that they're keeping it on the track after the melee we saw on lap 1.
Yeah, this is a good little scrap now as Dance gets to the back of Feldman, and Feldman just covers into turn 1. But Dance finds a hole in turn 2 to squeeze his Subi into. And he should take it at turn 3 here, and he does. Mizomo, can he get in there as well? No, not quite. Only a lap and a half to go here.
Yeah, for these guys anyway. Bo Albert has just started his final lap and coming through turn 2 now. He's just lapped Jonathan Bain there in position 14. Poor Jonathan not having a good time there at the back. But Albert having the best of times up here at the front. No pressure whatsoever from any of the other drivers who started squabbling amongst themselves on lap 1.
Through the final 2 corners, side by side in the background, but Bo Albert, no pressure. Bo Albert turns up and he's going to win again. He wins. It's Tsukuba. Second place for James Rowell. McLaughlin third. Purley fourth. What up those other battles? Further back.
Looks like Adam Cannell is going to win out on this one in 8th position. Cameron Dance recovering to 9th as Feldman and Stevens side by side through the last corner. Daniel Stevens into the wall, and he's going to settle for 13th at the end of it. Mizomo recovering back to, it seems, 11th.
Nab Stevens right on the line.
And you know why? Jeremy Clark, I think, exceeded the incident limit or something like that. I think he's been given a penalty.
I saw him come into pit road right in front of Barber on Albert's last lap there.
Ah, yes. Yeah, that would have been to submit a penalty. So despite starting 4th, Jeremy Clark classified dead last, and Albert taking the win by 6.4 seconds over James Rewalt and Hugh McLaughlin there for the podium. And the rest of the results on screen. That was quite the interesting race to finish off the night, wasn't it?
It was. It's our shortest one of the season so far, 53 minutes, and we're done. Do we chat to Bo again?
Oh, up to you, mate. If he's down there waiting for us, I reckon probably a good idea.
We'll drag the aspiring model into the chat. Bo Albert, congratulations on another great win, and coming off the back of some big changes to your life recently, including a new photo to represent yourself everywhere, and getting up on the top step now.
That might be the weirdest introduction I've ever had to the SimSpeed commentary box. I've had Jay introduce me a lot of times, but no, thank you very much, guys. It was a fun race. It was a very tricky track, trying to deal with all the hairpins. The car had to be made so oversteery, and the differentials were just completely whack to what I normally run. But it was good fun. It was good fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So we were talking about, you've pretty much wrapped up your inclusion in the Rallycross series now, with week 13 pretty much done with. Does this mean you can commit more time to hard and fast or less? When does the Rallycross season kick off?
So the Rallycross season will kick off, I believe it's on the 24th of September. So I've still got a couple of weeks. I've got about 3 weeks where I can just sort of do my own thing. But hard and fast probably will go in the background because, of course, there's a whole lot of things I need to deal with before the World Championship car selection, making sure I've got the setup dialed in properly. So, yeah. So hard and fast will still be my fun series. Just nice to jump in, have a good race with a bunch of good blokes all having a good time in Rallycross cars. But, yeah, very soon my... what I'm doing on the sim definitely has to change to a much more serious approach.
But next week, we're at what I think is your favorite track.
Yes,
or rather,
yes,
the Mullenbuchschleife.
The Mullenbuchschleife. So yeah, so that's on the Grand Prix circuit. It's a very tight and technical circuit. So we start down at the bottom of the Grand Prix circuit, basically, and we weave through this really awkward chicane. So I think for you guys in the commentary box, there'll be some really interesting little battles happening through there, because it's a really tight section, and just one little mistake, and you put yourself extremely offline for about the next 3 corners.
All
How
right,
about for that race, we get Jay to just train a camera on that chicane, and then he can just submit that entire recording to the Not Top 10. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds absolutely fantastic. You can go with my turn 1 last week.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Who do you want to thank for helping you win again today?
Well, of course, a massive shout out to all of our sponsors at Logitech G Altus Esports, which includes Logitech G, also got Astro Gaming, Own 3D, the Chief Esports Club, iLiveries, and Cube Controls, and also a little bit of a teaser as well. Stay very, very tuned. We'll have a new sponsor being announced in the next couple of weeks as well.
Ryan Jones commentary coming aboard as title sponsor of Altus Esports.
Nah, Southpaw Race is coming on as the title sponsor, didn't he tell you?
Oh,
Wait, it's in the contract. Hush, hush.
All right. NDA.
thank you for joining us, but we'll wrap this broadcast up. Thank you all for joining us here for another edition of the driversclub.net.au Hard and Fast series. From Tsukuba today, next week we head to Nürburgring to the Mullenbach Schleife, or however you say it. Going to be crazy fun there for another short track in the rallycross cars. But for tonight, from myself, Ryan Jones, Reese Gardner alongside me, and Jay Kennedy behind the scenes. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rhythm, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my god!
Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, here we go. Oh no!
That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my god.
God!